Okay, director Garry Marshall, what do you got this time? Hey everyone, welcome to another review. Here's my review for the movie Mother's Day. Yes, this movie Mother's Day is directed by Garry Marshall, who's previously directed movies like Runaway Bride, Pretty Woman, and The Princess Diaries 1 and 2, I think. Yeah. And this movie is called Mother's Day. It's a movie about Mother's Day, but didn't come out on Mother's Day. You know, before Mother's Day, I guess it thinks it's gonna be this successful. It's gonna be out for a few weeks so all the mothers can go see it with their children. Who the hell knows? But yeah, this movie stars Jennifer Aniston, Sarah Clarke, Kate Hudson, Julia Roberts, Jason Sudeikis, Timothy Olyphant, and Britt Robertson. And yeah, yes, like I said, this movie is about Mother's Day. It's like one of those romantic comedies that's based on a holiday, a bunch of different people's stories, kind of like, you know, Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve and stuff. You know, those stupid shitty movies. Yeah, I like those. Love Actually during Christmas and stuff, but Love Actually is actually a great movie. I love that movie. This movie's pretty much the same as all those stupid movies like New Year's Eve, He's Not That Into You, and Valentine's Day and stuff. And yeah, basically it's a bunch of different stories about mothers and stuff, or young people dealing with their mothers and stuff. Like there's Jennifer Aniston's story. She wants to get back with her ex-husband, but he's married to a new younger girl, and her kids are treating the younger girl more like a mother than they are treating her, and she wants to keep them on Mother's Day. Then there's Kate Hudson and Sarah Clarke's story. Kate Hudson's married to a Indian man, and Sarah Clarke is a lesbian, and they don't want to tell their parents because their parents are rednecks and stuff, and they're the stereotypical rednecks and stuff. And yeah, and basically that story wraps up in the most cliched and formulaic way ever. And yeah, and then there's Jason Sudeikis' story. His wife just passed, so he has to take a single dad, and he's a single dad on Mother's Day, so he has to kind of be the mother and stuff. And yeah, sure, let's go with that. And then there's Julia Roberts' story. She's not very big in this movie. She like runs a TV show about like jewelry and fashion and stuff, and basically her story connects with another person's story, and I don't want to spoil that. Then there's Britt Robertson's story. She's a young girl, married girl, who's dating this British guy, and he's a stand-up comedian, and honestly he's like one of the worst stand-up comedians ever. And that's not a joke. He's actually supposed to be funny in this movie, but he's not at all funny. But yeah, he basically wants her and him to get married, and she doesn't want marriage and stuff, and basically she's dealing with, you know, parent issues while also being a parent because they have a newborn baby. Basically, that's most of the stories. I might have left one out, but who cares? But yeah, basically it's all these stories all taking place during the Mother's Day season, I guess, because it's not just one day, it's like a bunch of days. But yeah, this movie is really stupid. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, this movie's terrible. I did not like this movie, Mother's Day. I didn't think this movie was funny, or interesting, or well written, or well directed, or well acted, or even the slightest bit engaging. Like, I went to go see this movie. I didn't want to see this movie in theaters, but I took my mother, my sister took my mother to go see it because she wanted to see it, because she's a huge Garry Marshall fan. She loves Pretty Woman. Hey, I love Pretty Woman as well, but yeah, that's probably the only movie of his I like. But yeah, she wanted to go see it because she loves Julia Roberts and Jennifer Aniston and stuff. So me and my sister took her to see it, and my mother had fun with it. She liked it fine, and that was good enough for me. Like, yeah, she had fun. And I was with an audience of, like, mostly women. I think there's 2 guys, me, so that's 3 guys, and they're all with their wives, and a lot of kids with their mothers and stuff, mostly women with their mothers. And the audience in this theater was, like, loving this movie. Everyone was laughing at, like, every joke in this movie. And pretty much every joke in this movie is god-awful, so it was more entertaining watching this audience, because this audience was, like, so amazed by how funny this movie was. They were laughing about everything, and it was so funny because nothing about this movie was funny, and, like, I was, like, curious to see why people thought this movie was funny. Like, that was, like, the biggest mystery of the night. Why are people laughing so hard about this movie? And almost every 5 minutes, everyone's going, "Aww, aww." I felt like an orchestra every 5 minutes. Aww, 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 aww. Yeah, that was basically the theater audience when I went to go see this movie. It was kind of funny because people were just laughing at nothing. Even something like opening a door, they're like, "Ah, that's so funny." It's so original. Like, there wasn't anything funny about this movie. I felt like this movie was going out of its way to be not funny, because there wasn't a single joke that really, like, hit. Maybe, like 1 or 2 got, like, a out of me, but other than that, nothing. like nothing. And the acting in this movie is beyond bad and really forced. Like, all the jokes are forced too, and this movie is incredibly racist. Like, there's a lot of racist jokes, and they're supposed to be funny, like, ah ha ha ha. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. It's racist. And it's really annoying and really dumb. Like, there is no smart writing or even slightly good direction in this movie, and the acting was shit. Like, Kate Hudson, she peaked after Almost Famous. I love her in Almost Famous. Almost Famous is like her only good movie. She is awful in this movie. Sarah Clarke is awful in this movie. The entire story is like the worst part, like the redneck family and stuff. That is like some of the worst comedy in this movie. It's unbearably unfunny. And Jennifer Aniston plays Jennifer Aniston. She is actually kind of fine. She is okay. She is trying. The script for this movie is god awful. And she tries. Like the one or two scenes I did one of those, they were all because of Jennifer Aniston. Like, I give her a huge thumbs up because she was the only person I felt like was trying with this movie. Julia Roberts was sort of trying, but again, her character is just so poorly written, so it just didn't work. And Britt Robertson, I really liked her in last year's Tomorrowland. She was awful in this movie. She was just terrible. And her stand-up comedian boyfriend, just awful. And then they had like a cameo of like John Lovitz, and like, what a waste of a John Lovitz and stuff. And oh my gosh, everyone. Jason Sudeikis, again, I can tell he was trying, but his character was so horribly written. I felt like Jason Sudeikis didn't even want to be in this movie. It felt like he was forced to do this movie. Like, it felt so awkward. Every line of dialogue he says in this movie is just so forced and just feels uncomfortable. And yeah, Timothy Olyphant is also awful in this movie. He is just terrible. He's supposed to be like this playboy, cool, suave dad. He is awful in this movie. Just awful. The acting, all in all, is fucking terrible, and it is beyond forced, and the jokes are just maddeningly unfunny. Like, nothing about this movie was funny. Like, I was begging for, like, at least a chuckle, like a ah or something. All I got was a and that's it. Like, one or two of those, and it was just not funny. And the funniest thing is, actually, the funniest thing about the whole night is the whole audience was laughing throughout the whole movie. But one scene when they actually, like, you know, say a reference to Pretty Woman, but you have to know Pretty Woman to understand the reference. They talk about, like, a salad fork and stuff. Nobody laughed at that. That is actually another scene I'm like, I get it, reference to Pretty Woman. Nobody laughed. I'm like, you're all laughing at nothing, but there's actually a scene that actually tries to be funny, but that's not funny. Now, according to this audience, that's not funny. But, you know, opening a door, hysterical. Yeah, this movie, I did not like it at all, but, you know, my mother had fun with it. That was the main thing, and my sister sorta had fun with it, but I hated this movie. I did not like it. I think Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve are way worse movies, but this movie isn't good. It's not well directed. It's not well written. It is not at all funny, and it's not well acted. So yeah, please do not take your mothers to go see this. Unless your mothers want to see it, then sure, but this is not, like, a great movie, and, like, not a lot of mothers would probably like it, unless mothers are into this kind of shtick. My mother is, so she loved it, but I'm not into it, so yeah. For me, I'd say skip it. So yeah, scale 1 to 10, I'll give the movie Mother's Day a 2.2 out of 10. So yeah, skip Mother's Day, it's not a good one. So yeah, that was my review for the movie Mother's Day. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me what is your favorite Garry Marshall movie. My favorite is the only good one of his, Pretty Woman. But what is your favorite? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.